Hi, welcome to the Winning Sometimes Show, where Clint, Emiliano, and I share our joy and sometimes hatreds for all things games, tech, and today, honestly, our love for just being as casual as possible. Yeah, that's right. Today, we're discussing our favorite games for rainy days, for Sundays, or just days that we kind of feel like being lazy and taking it easy. Despite what most people tell you, we don't always have to push our skill to try and master a game. We don't have to hunt every monster. We don't have to impact every Geshin or whatever it is you do in that game. It's great sometimes just to step back and enjoy a quote-unquote easy game sometimes. Even hardcore Clint here, who, and this is a true story, decided to play Call of Duty Warzone, right, with the riot shield and machetes and stun grenades and just go around and, that was his idea of fun in Warzone. So yeah, but even Clint sometimes does decide to take it easy and do some casual gaming. So today we're going to jump in to some of our favorite games that we like to play on those kind of rainy days, lazy days, and hopefully we'll give you some good recommendations on what your next kind of casual game can be, and hopefully, we'll get to find out kind of what we do when we're not trying to be good at stuff, which is kind of my standard. So, Crack, since I went ahead and called you out on your Warzone play right there, what are some games that you enjoy playing where you're not trying to troll necessarily?
Okay, I'll get started on that, but I feel like I have to explain myself. So I do like FPS games. I don't like every FPS game. I don't like being competitive in all multiplayer FPS games, but I have been playing Warzone a lot. I just started streaming, and I joined the squad, and they're like, Clint, get riot shields and machetes and throwing knives and stun grenades on your loadout, and let's go. And it's like, okay. And we spent the entire night just running around with the shield, which people can't shoot through. So people get really freaked out when they see 4 towers of riot shields running at them, throwing the throwing knife doesn't immediately down them, but it was hilarious and fun, and it didn't always work out, but we did get a couple wins. It was one of my favorite things.
So what you're saying is you gave in to peer pressure.
I'm always looking to find something fun to do, so I'll just say that. No. So yeah, I streamed that, and I'm actually probably going to make a video off of that. That was super fun. But
wait. So what is Warzone? The Warzone mode or Warzone?
So it's a battle royale game. So it's like
Okay.
Fortnite or Apex Legends, where you start in this big map, and it's like literally 20 square miles or something like that in game. And the circle constricts every couple minutes, and the circle gets smaller faster as time goes on, and you have to go in and get weapons and stay alive and not get killed by other people. I'm actually have been working on a gaming in 2020 recap video for 5 months now, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it because it's already almost April. So I'm going to be talking about all of that with Warzone. So but that's the gist of it. Anyway, games. So when I thought about games to play on a rainy day, I was thinking along the lines of smaller games, smaller experiences. If you guys had something else, that's fine. But I was thinking small experiences or small indie studios that came up with interesting concepts or interesting games. Something that would kind of enrich you and was a small experience. So I just went through all of my games. I'm missing something from my list, but the thing that made me think about this idea was the game Inside, which is literally a 3.5 hour game. It was made by the same developers that made the game Limbo, and it is a platforming puzzle game, and they are kind of known for telling a story with the environment, and Inside is just a fantastic okay, so you're this boy, you're probably 9 years old, something like that, maybe 12 before growth spurt, the adolescence, and it's in this very stylized world where everything's dark and you're in the woods. You do these various things to get over obstacles, but then you start to head into the city. And as you get to the city, you see more and more things that are like kind of shocking. Like one of the obstacles that you have to stay alive from is like these policemen with dogs, and they're literally just looking for people out in the woods to chase you
This
down. So
sounds really dark.
it is very dark. And so thank you for bringing that up. It's a dark game. But it is so it is a dark game. So if it's kind of like, if existential worry is something that you struggle with, maybe read the game facts for that first, or the cliff notes for that. It's sort of, I don't want to spoil too much, but it covers because it doesn't actually tell you, it doesn't give you anything to read. It doesn't have any dialogue at all. Like that's not what the game is. But you can tell that it's like post-apocalyptic, also like not nanny state. What's the 1984 dystopia? It's like big
1984?
government. Yeah,
That's the name of the book.
right. But what's the dystopia for?
Orwellian?
Yeah. Okay, so it's an Orwellian dystopia, kind of like the government or some big entity organization has taken over, and everyone is mindless husks controlled by technology, and you kind of have to act like them at one point in kind of like a single file line, and like shuffle with them so that people don't tell that you're not being controlled. And it's just like there's from scene to scene, every place that you go, it gets weirder and weirder, and it's like it's also like futurist, so there's like technology that and things and mutants that you have to deal with, and the ending is potentially, again, no spoilers, but it's potentially disappointing depending on what type of player you are, or what type of what do you call somebody who plays a game? Like, it's not an audience, I guess. Player.
Yeah, that's what I would say, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to use like reader, because like as a reader you respond to a story, but as a player,
I would say player.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, depending on what type of player you are, you might be disappointed. I personally did not find it disappointing. And if you feel like that's like not enough to make you go play the game, like certainly go look it up. There's plenty of playthroughs, let's plays, and stuff like that. But Inside is such a small, bite-sized, but rich and deep narratively type of game, and it was so fantastic. And I remember sitting at the end, because it doesn't quit, like make you, well, anyway, I remember sitting at the end of the game being like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. That whole game was so cool. It subverted your expectations. It totally I don't know, it blew my gamer mind. So that's one of the games that I highly recommend.
It's the same studio that did Limbo, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I played Limbo. I did not play Inside, and Limbo is fantastic, and I've been told that it's a very similar experience.
It is, but Limbo, I feel, is limited by its mechanics. Since it adds a third dimension, so you do have back and forth. Wait. I don't remember if there was a depth axis in Inside, but anyway, it does way more with it than Limbo did, and so I personally enjoyed it like way more than Limbo. So
yeah, it's something I definitely want to pick up. Like, I remember when it was coming out, and that was one of those things that you put on your list and then you just never get around to actually picking up. And it's like a $5 game, so I don't know why I didn't.
That's funny you say that, because
there's a game that I played on the iPad years ago, and the whole game is basically you in front of a fireplace burning objects that you order from like some catalog, and it has that dystopian feel to it, but it tells a story just from you burning objects in a fireplace. Oh, I forgot what it was called.
That. Yeah.
But it reminds me, what you're saying kind of reminds me of this, because the whole thing is you just burning things and you burn them in combinations to like get trophies or rewards. And the ending of it is kind of like, you're burning things so much that you end up like the world ends up like in smoke. It's anyway. Sorry, I was thinking about that. What is that?
Spoilers, Ronan.
If you can remember that might be.
I was trying to find it. Darn it.
Good to add to the list for the episode, but that sounds awesome.
But yeah,
sounds
it's
like
an older
a little
game.
Time waster. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take though, Crack, on how you like, I guess, your rainy day gameplays kind of things. Like, so when you have kind of a casualer, real word, mind you, day, you kind of look for those like smaller, I can finish this in a few hours kind of experiences. That's kind of what you go for.
Kind of. I wasn't really sure. Like, Rainy Day isn't the best like title for what I was thinking. I couldn't really put it down. I was laughing, and it was funny that you say like it's been one of those games that you just haven't got around to, because that's kind of what this episode is for me. It's like, what are the games that I never got around to until I did, or when I went to go build this list of games, like I found a bunch of them that I haven't played that yet, like a Bird Story and what did I have? There was a couple. Journey. I haven't played Journey yet either. So it's like I need to get to those. Those are so, I know that those are good games and I'll really enjoy them. But yeah. No, I play video games as like, I play video games to relieve stress. Like a lot. That's a huge part of my stress relief cycle. So like, I do play FPS games or games where I can build a skill and then, display it or exercise that skill. But then like most of the games that I enjoy are really either open world games or smaller experiences like these. So I think gaming is such, like, video games are such a dynamic medium that it's amazing. Like, as a hobby, as a like as an expression, a medium of expression, like there are so many ways, and we haven't begun to understand how we can make games interesting and like new ways. And I kind of mentioned this in the last episode, but yeah, I mean, I will never stop looking for these types of experiences. So I'm excited to hear what you two come up with or bring to the table. So Ronan, what games would you play on a rainy day? Or
he's been Googling that iPad game.
I've been Googling it. Little Inferno. That's what it's called.
Yes.
It's called what?
Little Inferno.
Okay.
And the whole gameplay is you with a catalog, burning objects, getting coins, and using those coins to get more objects to burn. And I remember
like Twitter, am I right?
Yeah, and it's crazy, but like there's a whole story, like you get letters from people talking about things about like it's interesting, like people are burning fires because it's cold. And the reason it's cold is because people are burning so many stuff. So like there's there's a cloud blocking all the light and all the heat. It's all done through just the premise of burning things in a fireplace. It's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I was thinking, what is this? Okay, back to the topic at hand. Like for me, rainy day games or casual games are games that I can enjoy and maybe not have to think about as much or, worry about or get tense about. So mobile gaming has taken up that space, especially like with all the craziness going on with 2020, 2021, mobile gaming, just because they're little slices of gaming that you can do like on the couch, maybe at a park or whatever, and kind of relax. And for me, they're relaxing games. So like Genshin Impact is one we talked about before, because it's little bite-sized gaming. And it's funny too, because some of the games you mentioned, Crack, they're available on mobile. Inside's available on mobile. Limbo's available on mobile. And it's nice because you have such, like Monster Hunter is available on mobile, and it's nice because for me it opens up a lot more things that I can kind of delve into, and they're not that expensive. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling now. So mobile gaming, for sure. Genshin Impact, but like Pokemon Go is a big one that I've started now. Yep. And I like this because it's very cooperative. There are raids or gym battles, and you can't beat it by yourself. So I have people that I play with regularly, but I'm also able to kind of host raids, and people from from Tokyo have joined me, people from Germany, from Sweden, because they'll send me gifts, and it'll give me a little timestamp of where they got that gift from. So it's kind of cool opening up a gift and saying, oh, hey, Sweden, Germany and stuff, and it takes everyone together to kind of beat this raid boss. And it's all it is tapping. All it is kind of using your finger to flick little balls at monsters. But, it's relaxing. I go on bike rides with my kid to go different places, to go hunt Pokemon. For me, mobile gaming has been a big stress reliever, and a lot of them are so bite-sized that if it doesn't catch me right away, I can kind of discard it and then go to the next thing. So I'll say mobile gaming for me, and I think some of the things you mentioned before prior to starting are on mobile games as well, but I'll come to that later. I don't want to take away everything too. So Matt, how about you? I mentioned my kind of ease, my mobile, my a casual.
Yeah. So it's interesting because we've kind of all taken this in a little bit different direction. Like you, if you're mobile gaming, it's oh, I'm just gonna chill out on the couch and play for a few minutes or whatever. Clint, with his I want to have this contained thing I can do in a few hours or whatever. Where I go when I have kind of a more casual, rainy day type situation is I tend to go back to games that I've probably played a zillion times, have hundreds, thousands, whatever of hours into, and those are kind of my rainy day things. I've mentioned this before. I'm not a huge FPS fan, mostly because I'm bad at them. I'm really bad. But one of the games that I go back and play a lot of, when I'm just lazy, it's not constant, it's not consistent in any way. It's not I've played this game, I don't think I've played this game past 6 months. But when I have a lazy day and I still want to shoot aliens in the face, I pick up Halo. Because it's wonderful, because if I want to crank it up to all skulls and super difficult mode, anything I can. If I want to be lazy and just not worry about having to aim, turn all the skulls off, put it on easy, and go shoot some aliens. And so for me, those are the kind of things that I go for when I'm on those more casual days, is the games that I'm really, really comfortable with, the games that I've played a ton. And so Halo is definitely one of those big ones. And then probably the other really, really big one is Minecraft. Because you can just build stuff. I don't particularly care for creative mode. I don't know why. But if I'll play survival and I've got, maps and things like that, I'll play for a full day or something like that. And just come back to them later and just put the server into friendly mode or whatever, where the mobs won't attack you, and then just be I'm gonna build myself a mountain kingdom or whatever, and just build giant halls inside of mountains. And so that's kind of the experience I go for, something that I have probably sunk a ton of hours into, which, like you said, Emiliano, I've sunk some time into Monster Hunter, but I absolutely cannot play that casually. That is not a de-stressor for me in any way. I'm not good enough at that game to play it casually. So
yeah, Monster Hunter can give a lot of stress, especially if you play for an hour and then you fail and you get no rewards. That's
no.
If the UI was actually tolerable, that would be what kills the game for me, is that I cannot tolerate the threat of loss of your time and resources in a game. and that's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if I like even in Stardew Valley, which I'm going to talk about here, if I die in the mines, which you don't die, you just lose some money and then random items from your inventory, and there's something that I went in there for, I restart the whole day. Like I just close the app, restart it. Like I just won't tolerate it. I hate that. So if it's like an hour of fighting a monster, I can't imagine that.
But see, I mean, well, the idea behind that is that you get better as you play, and I feel like I have gotten better. Yeah. So at this point, there's only some like top tier monsters that I don't want to spend the time at this point, because I'm in casual mode. I want things to be easy, not easy, but fun. And stress isn't always fun.
Right. Well, it's like Cuphead, right? Or a game like Cuphead where it's really hard and the patterns are the same, but you just have to learn through it and push through it, and either you get better or you don't. But if you lose, if you die, you have to restart the level. At least you've learned more about that level. But then the iteration time on that is like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter, for that, it's like the iteration time is like 65 minutes. It's like you lose so much more. And then if you lose resources during the battle, do you get them back when you die?
Stuff that you pick up, you keep, but like any rewards that you would get from the monster, which is what you're there for, you don't get.
But what about the stuff that you build up to prepare? Like
you can.
Potions
there's some basic stuff like potions that you'll expend, but it's like gathering resources. You can replenish virtually everything you use during the course of a mission, so it's not as bad.
Okay, that's
but yeah, I'm completely with you. Like 50 minutes in, and you've almost got the monster killed, and then the timer runs out. That is not something I want to do if I'm playing casually. Like that is a broken controller right there. That's what that is.
Well, like I will say for me, for Monster Hunter, like I'm sorry, Matt, I'm taking all your time, but I'm intruding your time. For me, Monster Hunter, like pretty much like 90% of the monsters, no sweat. I can go on there and I can beat them like in under 10 minutes. And it's kind of fun, just kind of going around, and the world is beautiful. But that 10%, those final like 10 monsters, those 5 monsters, I sweat thinking about spending that hour and failing. So, no, thank you, not right now.
Right.
And I think that goes to this whole conversation goes to stuff we've talked about before, how we are all very different when it comes to what we get out of enjoyment of games. And Emiliano, even though we both like Monster Hunter, and it's a great game, you are a much more hardcore gamer than I am. Even though I know we give you crap about being a mobile gamer now, but you are still, even on mobile games, more like I don't know, invested or whatever than I am. So for me, like Monster Hunter, I've spent a ton of time in there. That doesn't mean I've made a ton of progress in that game, because I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like, I'm bad at it. Like I'm the kind of person, and there's a subset of like gamers out there that are gonna like poo-poo this or whatever, but like I'm the kind of person who gets a game and I'm like, oh yeah, I really enjoy this game, but it's too damn hard. Let's move that slider back down to easy, because like that's how I enjoy it. I don't necessarily need to have everything. So maybe like every gaming day for me is just casual Sunday or whatever. I don't know. That's now that I think about that.
Well, no, I feel like when I start a game, I start it with like, yeah, I'm hardcore, so I'll put it to like one above like normal, But as I play, usually I'll go back to like one below normal, just to kind of, because I want to enjoy it. I'm tired of dying. Let's go back. Let's go to easy. Forget hard, forget normal, easy. Thank you. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, like I said, people talk crap about that or whatever, but enjoy the games you enjoy, and all honesty, enjoy them the way you enjoy them. So, yeah, you eventually get there. That's just where I start, man. Like I'm just like normal. That sounds a little more difficult than I want. Let's move it down a touch.
Yeah, it's like gamer cred to do something on hardcore, like to be the ninja of whatever game you're playing, right? Or whoever else. You know, pick your favorite super incredible streamer of the game you watch. It's gamer cred to say that, oh, I beat this game on super master difficulty. And I'm like, dude, you had to literally emasculate yourself to do that. Like the amount of hours and time you put in to get that super ultra challenge, like, was that fun for you? Cool. Thing about video games is that there's fun, and I guess what the episode is about, this conversation's about, is that that gaming has fun for everyone and all different kinds of players. And I guess this is about those games that kind of help you relieve that stress, rather than create it.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So,
And
I mentioned Stardew Valley earlier. Well, actually, I wanted to comment on Minecraft because I wasn't going to mention Minecraft, but that's like, I love that game so much. When it first came out, or when it, first came into, I think I got it the last alpha before it went to beta. I don't think I lost some grades in college. I was in college when I found out about it. But I definitely put all my extra time into it. It is so relaxing for me to be able to go in and have, like, the thing about Minecraft, not creative mode. Creative mode is just Legos, and that's it. But if you're in survival mode and you have those dangers, it's like enough stress to keep you going and have to that push you to make a plan. But then all you do is pick, like, I want to do this. I want to build this. I want to build a mountaintop penthouse. Well, in order to do that, I need to have all the wood for it, and they need to be the right color. So that means I need to go mine in this other forest, and then I need to go get, I want it to be easier, so I want to go get diamond pickaxe. So I've got to go dig down, but there's enemies and mine shafts and all kinds of stuff, and you have all these problems. The game is full of problems to solve, and you can take it whichever way you want to solve those problems, whether it's long-term goals that you have to problem solve for, or just going, digging down to bedrock. Like, it's such a engaging game for me. So that is absolutely one of the games I would say play Minecraft. Like, I've been watching some YouTubers that started a playthrough together, and it's really tempting me to start another playthrough of Minecraft, especially with all the shaders out there. And I've got an RTX 3000 series card, and I'm like, I want to do ray tracing Minecraft. That would be really cool.
We could start. My kids play Minecraft, but I think they do more creative. I think they've done a little bit survival, but they like the creating. They like the building, digging tunnels, making trap doors. They're getting into redstone with switches and levers and all that stuff like that too. We should talk about starting a survival server of Minecraft. I would do it. I've never played Minecraft really.
It's a ton of fun, and like I'm right there with Clint. Like, and I've suggested before 100%. I will happily get us a realm or whatever. But to kind of put it in perspective, what Clint's talking about, so you can beat Minecraft. Like, there is an end goal. You go and like kill the Ender Dragon. You've like won the game or whatever. I've probably put 1,000-ish hours into Minecraft, and I've never once beaten the game. I don't know how many servers I've played on, how many like maps I've started, worlds I've started, all that sort of stuff, and I've never beaten the game because that has never been a goal for me. I don't even know how you beat the game, like, because I've never looked into it. I just know because other people have told me that there's this thing called the Ender Dragon that I'm supposed to kill, and I'm like, no, I'm supposed to like completely and totally knock down this mountain and make it into a farm. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. And so and that's one of the great things about it. You can make, like you're saying, you make your own goals. And if you just want to sit there and grow your beets and carrots and whatever, hey, you can do that. If you want to go out and kill all the Endermen and throw pearls and do all that sort of crazy stuff, and hey, that's your jam. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Have fun, which I absolutely love that about Minecraft.
Yeah, I agree. So that one, I mean, if you haven't played Minecraft or seen Minecraft, you are one of the, what is it? How many copies of Minecraft sold now? It's like up
A
in the
lot.
500 million or more. It's like it is the greatest selling video game of all time. If you're not one of those people, I highly recommend you go play it. I mean, I get it. I have friends who just can't. They don't care to set goals for themselves. Which, when I put it that way, it sounds really depressing, and I'm sorry. You know who I'm talking. Like, I'm not talking to you if you're listening, but I get it if you're not into that type of game. But absolutely, I probably have spent thousands of hours too. I just never bothered to count. But yes, Stardew Valley, I mentioned earlier. Stardew Valley is a game that is a spiritual successor to Harvest Moon, which is a farm simulator game. I am not into farm simulation games, like, at all. And but this developer is one guy who is a Renaissance man who's super enterprising, and not enterprising, but like creative, and he got a degree in computer science, I think, and then he worked at a movie theater for like 5 years, and on the side he built this game from the ground up all by himself. He did all the art. It's like pixel art style, and he did all the music and he did all the coding, and it's amazing because it's such a good game. It is pretty close to how Harvest Moon plays, but you go in and you inherit a farm from your grandpa, and it's like completely broken down shack, and you have this big field that's like full of trees and rocks and sticks and stuff like you got to clear away to actually plant your stuff. And it sort of, you're in this small town called I don't remember what it's called, but you're in this small town.
Stardew
it's like a
Valley?
small
I mean, it's
Pelican
the title.
Town.
I don't know.
Pelican Town is the town
Okay.
in Stardew Valley. Yeah. But you go in, and there are people, and he actually wrote characters for all of them, and they all have story. Like, as you get to know them, it's just like Harvest Moon, where you give them a gift 2 times a week, and they have hearts, and you get to more hearts, and with them, like, you become better friends with them, and then you see more about them, you learn about their personality and stuff. I'm getting ahead of myself because the whole gameplay mechanics are based around like a full day is a save. Like, at the end of every day it saves, and so you have a timer basically, which is the time, and I don't remember exactly how fast it goes. It's like every day is like 30 minutes or something. So, well, no, it's not even that long. It's got to be like 10 or 15 minutes. But yeah, and you do everything you can within a day, and then you go to bed, and you wake up the next day, and you sort of can plan your day, your stuff out. So you plant crops and different types of crops, like the parsnips are the first thing you get, and you can plant corn and flowers and cauliflower and a bunch of other things. And there are, each month is 28 days. So you have 28 saves within then, and then you have 4 seasons. So every month is a season. So there's spring, summer, fall, winter. And as you go through, every season has different crops. And so you kind of plan out what you're going to do with your farm. You try and maximize. You get money. You sell your crops. You just drop in a box and it gets sold. I'm just like going through and explaining the entire game now, but my point is like the increment that he set for the game, like the amount of time in a day is like just enough to push your goals forward. It's another one of those games where you kind of have to set your own goals. For me, it was there are some items in the game that are worth millions of gold. And so it's like, I got to get those. So what is the best way to be the most efficient with all your stuff? Well, there's artisan goods. You can get animals, and you can process their products into other stuff that sell for more. So like my thing was kegs. So you can, you grow hops, and then you turn those into pale ale and you sell those, and it's like 20K a day. and then you you go get fruit like berries and you turn them into wine, and then you age the wine and then you sell it, and it's like 500,000 gold a week. And then it's like you keep on like you just build the engine, and it picks up steam, and you like it is so addictive to play that game. I know for a lot of people, because I do follow the subreddit, Stardew Valley subreddit, it's like just one more day is a big problem with this game. It is so fun to just like have these goals and these plans and to set them out and actually see them to fruition. And then you know, the game is fantastic. Like I'm gonna stop there because I'm like rambling now for sure. Like I got you beat, Emiliano. But if you have not played Stardew Valley,
is there a way to win in the
recommend.
game? Like, is there an end? Like Minecraft has the Ender Dragon. Does Stardew Valley have like a end point that you're kind of aiming for? Is it just
So yes and no. For me, because I'm not going to 100% the game, but there is a 100% tracker. It's called the Perfection Tracker. And once you get to a certain part in the game, like they just Eric Baroni's the name of the developer. He's still the only guy working on it, except for the localization teams. And he just added a huge free update to it that adds an entire island. And it works like the greenhouse does in the game, which means you can grow any type of crop any time of the year. And you get a second farm. You can sleep there to end the day. You can save your game there. And it's like there's a new dungeon. So there's dungeons in the game. So you need fighting abilities. But anyway, there's all kinds of new challenges. And then there's this console where you can go check your perfection. And every challenge in the game, every villager, full friendship, married, you can marry people, you know, certain eligible bachelors and bachelorettes, just like Harvest Moon. But then, yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff. If you basically 100% the game, that is technically like winning, but that isn't necessarily like the main goal of the game, is to like finish something. It's sort of, although I'd have to think about like if he has like a point for the game. But it is it's such a wonderful like tribute to Harvest Moon, which I never liked in the first place. But it's also a very like accessible game, and you can come in and play a few days. There's so many challenges in that game that you can either rise to or ignore, or you know, whatever you want to do. There's plenty of content in there to engage with, and yeah.
What this reminds me of when you're describing it sounds just like if you took like Animal Crossing and made everyone into like farmers is what it kind of how it, and I don't know if that's a good description of it or not, but that's what it feels like the way you're describing it.
It's not too far off if you are the farmer and everyone else, because you're the only farmer there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not too far off. It's just that rather than saying the same thing every day, like the villagers in Animal Crossing do, everyone has real problems. So that's one of the things I love about the game, is that as you get to know people, like one of them is a young woman who like teaches all the kids in the village, and but she lives with her mom, who's an alcoholic, in a trailer, right? And as you get to know them, like you witness arguments where she's like, "Can you stop drinking all the time?" Right? It's like really heavy.
That's kind of intense.
Yeah, and it's like they both apologize to you after for having to see that, but then like you have the option eventually to, it's like a really end game to build a house for them because they're in a trailer. So you can kind of like one of the early goals that's kind of given to you is to repair the community center. So like you do have kind of a healing effect on the town. You revitalize the economy because you're a farmer. You go and you donate these things, like resources and rare materials, to the community center to get it rebuilt. And then everyone like is enriched by that. Like everyone has like a set schedule. Like certain days they're doing certain things. Like Penny's teaching, this girl I was talking about is teaching the kids on certain weekdays, and but everyone's schedule kind of changes a little bit once you complete the community center. So like, I don't know where I was going with that, but
Yeah, just the amount of change and like how the characters, your decisions have consequences.
yeah.
You know, unlike in like Animal Crossing, where the most you can do is like bully somebody off of the island,
which I still haven't figured out how to do that. You kind of just have to wait for him to leave. But
I mean, I can show you sometime if you need me to. Not that I've bullied anybody off my island, because that would be unkind.
yes, it would be. And I certainly will never ask you for that information, of course. No, Animal Crossing, that fell off the wagon. But yeah, I guess I was talking about the characters, and yeah, they're much more involved than Animal Crossing. There's one who is there's a kid. He's like just out of high school. He's like in his early 20s, and he's living with his grandparents because his mom died and his dad ran out. And I'm going to stop there because that is kind of a spoiler, and I apologize if you plan on playing it and are going to be mad at me later. But he's a dick to everyone. Like he's super like misogynistic, and if you're a girl character, because you can be a girl or a guy, like he acts differently towards you. And he's like trying to pick you up if you're a girl, and if you're a guy, he's like trying to, sort of compete with you and kind of, elbow you out. Or he's just really, rough and rude to you. But as you get to know him, he starts to, you see where the weakness is, just like, in any real person who has those types of issues. There's obviously something going on underneath. I mean, I don't know everyone, and I've not seen every situation, so I'm not assuming to know your situation if you're a dick. But anyway, the point is, like, he wrote some really realistic characters, and even though it's kind of like stuck within a framework of a video game that's kind of like regimented, like Harvest Moon is, it goes a little bit farther, and it's a little bit more daring in how it writes, because like even like a AAA game, you don't see people dealing with real issues. They're like more like movies, right? With those high budget video games, like their narratives are so like cookie cutter,
two-dimensional.
Yeah, conventional. Better not, hit home. Better not write something that's too close to home for people you don't come to the movie theaters for a therapy session, so why would we cover those subjects in a video game?
Maybe you don't.
Well, I mean,
what do you play it on? Like PC? What do you play it on?
I started playing on PC when it came out, and I played a game. I've played multiple files. I've been playing it on Switch because it's just way too easy and portable. So it's a good game to play with controller.
And I think that kind of goes into some of my stuff too, because the Switch has become a haven for indie games, and you mentioned indie games kind of at the start. Like my kids, well, my youngest kid, he wanted Undertale, and I don't remember why he wanted it, but I bought it for him, and he loves it.
That's music, on my list.
He loves the music. He'll come to me to help him beat a boss, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Like right, because like one of the boss battles, you're like your heart in like a cube, and you have to like dodge things that are trying to hit you or something. And
yeah, so if you'll let me explain a little bit of Undertale. Undertale's on my list, and I don't want to cover it because that's your game, but
well it's my kid's game.
Okay.
I'm thinking of like,
well, let's get him on the podcast. Let's talk. Let's have him. No, I'm joking, but
we could
go wake him up.
You come and talk about it. You could come and talk about it. But
so Undertale is a game where you can choose to kill people. It's like an RPG, so you get into a battle. It's turn-based, but you can choose to fight, or you can choose not to fight. And it's hard to explain because, like, if you don't fight, you're gonna die, right? Well, no. The whole mechanic of it is that you try and figure out with the options that you have on, because they change every fight. you try and get out of the fight without killing someone. And if you kill someone, then you get a different ending. Your choices do matter. But if you don't, like if you're, because it is kind of like a fantasy world. So like you come up to a dog in knight's armor, right? And you can try and pet the dog, and it's like, well, he doesn't know who you are, so he's not letting you get very close. And then you like, instead of having them hit you, you have that box that you're talking about, and they throw attacks at you, and it'll be like this line that goes across the screen and trying to avoid the line so you don't get hurt, and that's how you lose HP. But every single engagement is a little different, and you kind of have to figure out what it is that helps you get through the fight. Like for that dog, you like slowly, you tell a joke, and then he's like, oh, haha, you're all right. And then, he does his fight, and you have to avoid getting hurt. And then after that, you try to pet him again, and then he might let you pet him, and then he's like on his back with his belly out, and he's like, he's not going to hurt you anymore. It's like you win the fight. And it's like that whole game is about how to avoid fights. And it completely changes the outcome. There's like 4 endings in that game, at least, I think.
Isn't like the tagline of the game like the RPG that no one dies in, or no one has to die, or something like that?
I think so. Yeah. I failed to not kill anybody. I killed people for like the first quarter of the game, and then I realized, oh, this is a game about not killing people. Uh-oh.
You went all riot shield and machete on them?
I know. I'm going to regret bringing that up. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
Well,
that's Undertale. It's great.
Yeah, I kind of want to play it, but so my kids, there's 2 Switches in the house, and both kids have them. And the Switch is another system that I kind of want to get more into, like Legend of Zelda, Mario. Nintendo makes amazing games, and they're games that to me fit this mold of like, you know what, I want to relax, and they're so well done and so well thought out. But it's also become, like we mentioned, a haven for indie games. There's so many indie games on it. There's another one that we have on there where you're like a bug, and it's like a Metroidvania. I forget what it's called, but like you have like a little sword, and you're fighting other bugs in this kind of platforming level. And they're coming out the sequel for it. I don't know if you guys recognize this game. I forget what it's called.
It's not Bug Snacks, right? No, I'm joking.
No. It's not Bug Snacks. I don't know. But it's another kind of indie type game. Like I'm thinking about buying myself a Switch so I can actually play some of these games. Because, I mentioned this before, like I'll start playing a game on the Switch. Then my kids will pick it up and they'll kind of continue my saves, but then mess everything up. And I'm like, oh, so it's, yeah, I've stopped playing Switch because of that. But
you're a saint, Ronan.
Well,
yeah, I'm surprised you still have kids.
No, they're good. Stardew Valley, I've been picking it up, but it's also on mobile. I can buy it on my phone. There are also a lot of indie games on mobile. Stardew Valley,
Terraria.
Terraria. I have Terraria.
Yeah.
I have that. And it recently got updated to be on par with the consoles and PC, I think. Mm-hmm. So that's like, there's a whole bunch on there. I can't even think of all of them, but I think that's kind of where I've gotten these kind of more indie games too. But then also, I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling again too, but music games have also been a big part of these kind of casual times for me, because I can incorporate my family into those as well. There are like mobile rhythm games, but then a big one that we do is Rock Band. Like we love Rock Band, with the drums, the guitar. I love singing. Like I'm horrible at singing, but man, when you're out there singing,
I'm gonna need you to stream this.
Well, if you guys pick up a copy, we could all form our own band.
Does it have remote play?
Wait, is it really?
Yeah,
that's a thing.
It has, yes, it has remote play or multiplayer. Someone can be drums, someone can be vocals, someone can be guitar.
You don't want me to sing, but I mean that would be cool. I had no idea it had whatever it is you just said, remote multiplayer.
Yeah. Rock Band 1, I did it with some of my cousins on the old 360. But the new Rock Band we have on the Xbox, on the new Xbox One. But yeah, we haven't, no. I think I think a lot of these rhythm games have kind of died, or no one's playing them as much anymore. But it's still a lot of fun, with the kids are on the guitar. Sometimes they'll sing, but yeah, like these rhythm games, Rock Band is fantastic. They have a lot of good classic songs, which I like, and they're like, I picked up that one by Imagine Dragons, the Believer. It's like $2. I'll pay $2 to get Believer.
The song.
And be able to play that. Yeah. So yeah, Rock Band's another one. Yeah, and that goes along with the mobile gaming. But Stardew Valley, I'm marking it. I'm putting it on my phone. I'm marking it on my phone.
Yeah, I would only caution against the touchscreen controls. Those might be a little unwieldy.
I'll have to look at that. Yeah.
I mean, it is playable on controller, so if you can deal with the controller being on the screen, I guess Genshin Impact has that too.
It does.
So, I mean, if you're fine with that, then you'll probably be fine with Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley latest update has not come out on mobile yet, though, so you might want to wait until that update comes out. You don't have to, but you'll have to start another game to get the update features. So, but totally worth it. I mean, even on mobile. And it's one of those games that you will want to keep a wiki, the Stardew Valley wiki, open, if you want to maximize and be efficient. You don't have to.
Yeah,
that's
casual.
Well, I know, but that for me, a casual experience can also be a game that I can
optimized,
engage and optimize. Yeah. Like Minecraft, that's one of those things. You can totally build out machines that auto sort your stuff, right? So all you have to do is go out, you go mine a bunch of stuff, you get a bunch of stuff in your inventory, new items, whatever, and then you just drop into a chest, and then it goes and sorts everything into its right chest. Like, I would totally be down to build that. That sounds fun. And Stardew Valley is one of those
Clint
things where
is just like a process engineer.
What's that?
I feel like you're just like a process engineer or something when you play games.
Maybe. Automation really gets me going, I guess. That is my job.
You should look into Factorio then.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking about Warzone with a buddy. It's like one of the reasons I enjoy this game so much is because it's like risk-based assessments and risk mitigation in a game. Like that, when you get good at it and you start thinking, okay, what's our next move as the circle's constricting? Well, you want to maximize for position and potential, and you want to have your gear, and you want to have awareness. So like there are ways you can get all four of those things, and if you really want to win a lot, you have to do that. And that's what my job is. And my job is basically how can we do things the best and the fastest while mitigating risks like security and other things. So, yeah, absolutely. Stardew Valley is totally worth it, even if you get it on mobile.
Check it out.
So, one thing I want to touch on before we wrap up about you optimizing things and having wiki open in Minecraft, and I'm sure you knew this from the second you started playing it. If you're up on a ledge, you can hold down shift to kind of lean over without falling off of it.
Yeah.
I played that game for 3 years before I found that out. 3 years. You have no idea how many times I died from falling in that game. And then Rachel was like, just hold shift. Like, what? Wait, what? What? And then the game got so much easier.
It is. And you can build things, like you can build bridges across chasms, and you're going to need that when you fight the Ender Dragon eventually. But, which, by the way,
I know now.
Yeah. I have never beaten Minecraft either, technically.
So what I'm hearing, this is what I'm hearing right now, that we're going to start a survival Minecraft game with the end goal to beat the Ender Dragon. Additionally, we're going to start a rock band group, and we have to think of a really cool name. Okay, my rock band name was an amalgam of my wife's name, my name, my cousin's name, and his wife's name. So Gwen Emiliano was one, Alicia and Manuel. So our rock band name, Animal Glam. Gwen and Emiliano, Glam. Manuel and Alicia, Animal. Just kind of. I'm sorry. That is an amazing rock band name, it. Animal Glam.
Sounds good.
Our rock band name needs to be better.
So that's.
I don't know about that. I don't know if we can,
I mean, I am all for that. I don't know if you can even still buy like the guitars and things like that for Rock Band, but I am all for that.
Well, the box that I bought was on clearance at GameStop for like $25, and it included like 2 guitars, the drums, and the game. So I don't know if it's still available, but yeah, $25. Yeah, it was a big box.
Oh wow!
It was one of the big boxes.
I used to work at GameStop until 2012, and it was hard to find those when I worked at GameStop over like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. Like one of the deal sites was listing that they were clearancing them out because I guess no one was buying them or they had an inventory in stock. So I looked it up. Oh, there's one.
I was always a Guitar Hero person. I could not get into Rock Band.
Yeah, but Guitar Hero died a horrible death with the last one that they had they had like a subscription fee or something like that for it.
Oh, really?
They tried to do the Battle Pass thing before Battle Passes were a thing.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like a good deal because like for a monthly fee, they gave you a lot of songs you could play, and I think it rotated out and stuff like that too. But there wasn't enough.
That's a bad model for a game where you expect to have levels. I mean, every song is a level. And if your levels go away that you paid for, and if you like them, like, whatever, an Aerosmith song or something like that, you expect that to be there for as long as you have the game. Like, it being a software, like a living software entity isn't a thing that at least I as a gamer will tolerate. Like, that's so BS.
I think it did come with a selection of songs, but I think it was maybe like only 30 songs or something like that.
Sure.
And the bulk of the game was through their online, like, streaming whatever service that they had. I actually bought that the last Rock Guitar Hero also. It was also on clearance for like $20. So I was like, oh, why not? Although, yeah, I haven't really played it. So,
yeah.
Well, that's definitely next time we all have a rainy day scattered across the country. These are definitely things that we should like take a look into, and as we wrap up the episode here, like hopefully we've given some people listening some ideas of what good games, whether they're indie games, whether they're more mainstream games, like obviously in Halo, I don't know how you get more mainstream than that, but just those more casual games. So, and I'm always blown away by just how different we are, and yet we're still all friends and still met through the same freaking game, which is crazy. But so hopefully we've given some people some suggestions. Maybe people out there have tried the games we like and they enjoyed them. There may be some great casual games out there, indie games that we may have missed. So of course, as always, feel free to reach out to us, tell us how we were wrong, because that's just kind of the standard thing we do here. You can reach us on Twitter at WSometimeShow. We have a website at winningsometimes.com where all of our stuff's going to be. Leave us a comment on the YouTube because, yes, if you're listening to the audio only, you can see all of our faces on YouTube if you so choose. Excuse me. Let us know. Tell us how we're wrong. Tell us what games we missed. Tell us why our games are not good. And until the next episode, we will see you later. Bye.
I just realized that, Matt, you're using Ronan's closet as your background, and I'm using something else. I should have used Ronan's closet. Anyway, bye, everyone.